Hey guys, I wanted to talk today about pain, energetic pain, ascension pain, and how the physical body reacts to our journey on this evolutionary path. And I felt it important to highlight because in my field of awareness, I actually haven't seen anyone really talk about the excruciating pain that you can feel while you're going through these changes. And what's really interesting to me is what's happened recently in the world, and has made a lot of people sick, I believe is part of the ascension. And what and nobody has to, well, others do, but you don't have to agree with that. That's fine. We're all on our own path, and that's the point of non-judgment, and everyone's sort of living in their own truth. But what's really important for me to remember is that nobody's actually controlling things to such a high degree that they're having such a huge impact on the entire world. My guidance is very, very, very much saying that it's not possible. So an experience I had on Monday was a great remembering of being Lemurian. And I have been told this in the past and had a feeling, really, really small feeling, but more because people were telling me I didn't want to listen, because obviously if somebody's saying it to me, it's just a story. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because what happened last night after I experienced this. So I had a remembering of being Lemurian and actually being a crystal in the earth, and having the realization and the memory of growing and evolving from being that crystal into actually the physical plane, into us being humans on the earth. And I can't answer all the questions. I can only talk about what my experience was. And it actually, for the first time, I felt so more connected to the earth than I have ever felt, because it's not even I'm connected to the earth, I am the earth. And to actually feel like you are the earth, walking around, experiencing this evolution of this living entity that you are actually a part of. And it was next level. And then I started thinking about animals. They are also part of the earth, experiencing. And when I asked what my role was, what can I do? What am I supposed to do? And I got told, you're just growing. You're doing it. You're growing. And I really got this feeling of like the trees. It's just another form of the earth sprouting life, just like humans. And, you know, they grow and they withstand the storms to strengthen their foundation. And they go through different things in their evolution. And when they die, they go back to the earth, and animals live in them. And they become, you know, food for the earth again. And then the earth recreates again. And it was just really, really interesting and extremely energetically intense, because it was a lot to take in, this remembering. And basically the Lemurian seed, there's the crystals where they hold a specific code, and they hold yeah, like a seed to birth something. And it's a form of awakening. I've also had it told to me about, it's your symphony that goes into the orchestra of life, because when we are all playing our part in this symphony, and it just gets shown to me like an orchestra, I guess because we're vibration, and we're all these pieces all over the planet playing, so shining the way we are, creating the way we are in our energetic vibrational resonance, then it creates like a symphony around the earth of vibration, and works to help clear and raise the vibration of the earth. So basically what I was told my role is to just go around specific places of the earth and anchor that vibration and light in those places. But what actually happened when I came home was I received a letter from a friend who channeled guides, and we did a swap. So I wrote her a letter from what came through, and she wrote me a letter. And instantly when I was reading this letter, it grabbed at my throat, and I knew immediately that the light codes and the energy in the letter were upgrading my throat, which Lemurian's very about song, and I've had a lot of singing come through. And I am getting to my point. Basically, I was then put on my ass from just before lunchtime until about 8 o'clock this morning with intense pain, and it started at the throat and made its way up through the entire head and the whole body, but it had particular pain in the throat and the head. And then by about 2 o'clock this morning, and minutes were passing like hours, like time was all out of whack. It just was going so slow, and it was so painful that I felt the throat finish being upgraded, and then the head felt like, your column of ascension. It felt like my column of ascension was kind of like there. Maybe even if it was like a Coke can kind of size. So picture that there. Then it was inside my head, and it was being expanded, and it was actually like hurting because it was actually pushing against my head while it was expanding this field energetically. And it fucking hurts. And I guess I just wanted to bring it up because no one really talks about how much this upgrading and this ascension hurts. Because as physical beings, we're holding a certain amount of light, and then as we take on more and more of our soul, and it's like our higher self. I had this picture once of the higher self, say it's hovering above us, right? And then say it's got 1 foot or 2 feet in our head. And as we clear to make more space from all the dense vibration, the higher self can actually come in, or the soul, whatever you want to call it, can come in further and further. But that actually hurts, because it's such a high frequency and high vibration that when we're embodying it, our physical vessel is shifting, and it's really painful. And so the only thing I can recommend, because of how we've been taught, it's very like, we need to fix it, we need to stop it from hurting, we need to make it go away. All I feel and recommend doing is allowing space for it. So if you have people around you and you're going through quite an extensive period of this pain, perhaps reach out and say, can anyone deliver me some meals? If you're going in hermit mode. If not, just give yourself as much time as you need. And while you're experiencing it, know what you're experiencing is a good thing. And I mean, it's not to say good, bad, whatever. It's upgrading. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. But it's not something to be rejected or pushed away or fixed. It's something to be honored and embraced that it's happening. Because as we change vibrationally, it's going to happen. It's going to be painful. And it's really, really important to remember that, because when we try to reject what's actually happening on this path, we're actually stopping it from happening. So the more we embrace and allow, the easier it gets as we're actually going through it. So I just wanted to explain how the pain that you may be experiencing is completely normal and it's totally part of it, and that it just means that you're on the right track and vibrationally you're upgrading. Sometimes if people don't listen when they're being told to honor their space and to create that space for themselves for this to occur, they can generate an illness, or they can provide themselves with an excuse to have to take that time out. So that's like when we keep on working even though we feel like there's resistance and we need to cocoon, then it can obviously come out as illness. And what we call illness is usually our body speaking to us in different ways. And if you're on the path of ascension and you're experiencing these upgrades energetically, it's going to be painful. So always feel free to reach out if you need to, and know that you're not alone. See ya.